A very warm welcome to everybody from all across the globe. Here in India, we have good morning, and I hope that you all are there from different time zones. But yes, good evening, good afternoon, and good morning to all the participants who are present here. So let's proceed with our inaugural session. May I request everyone to be on screen? It would be great if we can have you all on screen and we can see each other. Yeah, great, great. So, heartily welcome the participants for our 2 weeks online training program. I, Dr. Shikha Dubey, from MIT Institute of Training and Development, welcomes you all on behalf of our Honorable Founder President, Dr. Ashok Kumar Chauhan, our Chancellor, Dr. Atul Chauhan, CEO, Dr. Nitin Batra, and Brigadier Sharma, Director, MIT Institute of Training and Development. We welcome you all to MIT University, India, for this course on management of the future, essential leadership skills in digital era. We are conducting this course in collaboration with ACCF, that is MIT College of Commerce and Finance, which is an institute has been conducting courses to learn and cultivate essential leadership skills to meet the dynamics of business world. The objective of this course is to provide a unique perspective of leadership and to help you to adapt to the challenges of this fast-paced digital era. As the journey goes on, you would cultivate greater self-awareness as a leader in the digital context by exploring key competencies and skills essential to lead effectively in the digital age and how digital is transforming the leadership landscape. We will start today's proceedings with Saraswati Vandana and lighting of the lamp of knowledge. Request our IT team to please play the video of Saraswati Vandana.
शारदे माँ अज्ञानता से हमें तार दे माँ। मुनियों ने समझी है गुणियों ने जानी, वेदों की भाषा पुराणों की वाणी। मुनियों ने समझी है गुणियों ने जानी,
IT team, is there any glitch?
Is Geeta's call? I can't. Am I audible?
Yeah, Sujata ma'am.
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am, you're audible.
प्राणों की वाणी हम भी तो समझे, हम भी तो जाने, विद्या का हमको अधिकार दे माँ, हे शारदे माँ, हे शारदे माँ, अज्ञानता से हमें तार दे माँ, हे शारदे माँ, हे शारदे माँ, अज्ञानता से हमें तार दे माँ, हे शारदे माँ, हे शारदे माँ, अज्ञानता से हमें तार दे माँ.
Ladies and gentlemen, now we will have a short video film on ITEC program of the Ministry of External Affairs, Government of India, who has sponsored this course. I request IT team to play ITEC program video.
Our country, our village, we are in darkness, no light. I am solar engineer.
भारत में प्रशिक्षित सोलार मामाज, उनकी कहानी अपने आप में प्रेरणादायक है.
Indian Technical and Economic Cooperation, ITEC, is the flagship program of the Government of India for capacity building in our partner countries. Since its beginning in 1964, over 200,000 professionals have benefited from ITEC. Today, we offer around 14,000 scholarships annually to 160 partner countries in about 100 premier Indian institutions. ITEC covers both civilian and defense expertise, including going digital under e-ITEC.
Just like this is quadrant B, this quadrant C.
One of my tasks to actually come up with projects to be implemented in the near future in my countries, which involves a lot of what I've learned here at IIM Dabat. Laos is growing very rapidly, and IT happens to be one of the most crucial components. The challenges that we are facing right now is really critical, which is the human resource. The Indian government has helped us building this Center of Excellence in Software Development and Training. This center will help tremendously to develop the human resource very much needed to contribute to this country's growth to the future.
Almost every family in Iraq has either a missing person or a dead person. So it is important for them to find mortal remains of their dear ones and bury them the right way.
We still hope they might come back to us by any chance. We always feel their presence around us.
Our job is humanitarian. ITEC training built the capacity of our staff. They got more information, knowledge, and exposure about DNA testing. Thank you very much. It was a very fruitful cooperation. At the same time, we feel proud for getting results.
Conservation and restoration of the Taparum temple by ITEC experts from ASI is a fine example of our cultural cooperation to preserve civilizational ties with Southeast Asia. It's a very challenging work where man-made structure and nature are living together. To tackle this complex project, the Indian Institute of Technology, Madras, also undertook some engineering and structural studies.
IIT Madras is proud to be associated with the Ministry of External Affairs, Government of India, in offering the iTech program for professionals abroad.
Since 2008, more than 840 rural women across the global south in 85 countries have been trained as iTech solar mamas.
These extraordinary women have been able to learn to fabricate, install, repair, and maintain solar home lighting for everyone in their communities.
Their ability to harness the sun has brought clean light to more than 240,000 people. It has led to acceleration of the sustainable development cause in communities across the developing world.
I made it.
I made it.
iTech is demand driven. Whether it is agriculture, rural development, governance, banking, or environmental sustainability and climate change. Besides sharing our ancient knowledge in Ayurveda and Yoga, iTech also shares India's globally acknowledged expertise in cutting-edge scientific areas like artificial intelligence, big data, and cybersecurity.
Many years ago, I came to India as an iTech trainee. Over the years, I have seen this iTech program grown both in numbers and the scope.
I have benefited a lot from Indian Parliamentary Internship Program. After that, I have shared the experience which I have gained from Indian Parliamentary to other Ethiopian Parliament members.
My own experience of iTech has been very fruitful professionally and memorable personally.
India's development cooperation is a key component of India's foreign policy. It is free from conditionalities and is strongly rooted in the principles of partnership, mutual benefit, and solidarity. India believes that growth and prosperity of the world are indivisible. We all grow together.
I am thankful to iTech and India.
Я учусь жить изобильно в будущем.
Men ilm o'rganayapman va butun umrga do'st orttiryapman.
iTech program كويس قوي ولو رجع بيا الزمن هختاره كل مرة.
J'ai appris et emporte avec moi une expérience magnifique de l'Inde.
Nga naumbe yintin sap lecher al hapchi se shuni ila.
Yo vi el Taj Mahal, estuvo maravilloso.
Я люблю индийскую кухню.
Janam dekho mitkeri duriya, main yahan hu, yahan hu.
So now we have with us Dr. Sujata Khandai. She is the director at MIT College of Commerce and Finance. She has over 2 decades of industry and academic experience, having expertise in the area of consumer behavior, brand management, and service marketing. She is an experienced coach and has been involved in developing and implementing extensive training programs. I now request Dr. Sujata Khandai to take us through the program overview. Over to you, Dr. Sujata. Ma'am, you are on.
You're not audible. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. Good morning. Thank you, Shikha, and good morning to everybody who attending this very interesting and very relevant training program, which will be conducted over the next 10 days. We are happy to have you here. Now, this training program is something which is, I think, in my opinion, extremely relevant and extremely pertinent today, because the world as we see today has witnessed a significant shift towards the digital age. And the organizations today are emphasizing more on digital transformation to keep pace with the changes happening all around them. Digital transformation can be disorienting and also can create panic. We have seen that, it creates a little bit of panic, it creates uncertainty too. Still, if the leaders are confident about the changes and they will benefit, how it will benefit everyone, then probably adaptation becomes easy. And that's the reason why we need to have, and we are having more such programs so that we can equip the necessary skills in the leadership so that they are able to take their people forward. Now, if you have noticed, or if you have kind of seen leaders like Elon Musk, Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, they embrace the digital change quite adeptly. And they adapted to it very swiftly with the excellent leadership skills. And that's why this has made them stand out as leaders. And with the advent of technology, they also consistently and constantly kept upgrading their skills that was necessary to kind of keep pace with the changes and the changes which were happening so fast. Now, if you let's look at some of the leadership skills that are required to engage with, to motivate, and to persuade our own people, the people that work with us as colleagues, as peers, to align with a vision, goal, or objective. Now, a leader thinks long term. A leader is not somebody who is looking at it more tactically. A leader is more strategic in his or her vision, and therefore approaches strategically, knows the customer, builds success to the employees. Let's not forget, the biggest asset an organization can have are the employees, right? Influences and gains authority through his or her own behavior. So here, if you see the entire thing, if what I'm trying to encapsulate here is that it is the leadership, the leader plays a key role in deciding in which direction is the organization going to go ahead in the future. So leaders have to create conditions that enable digital maturity, attract the best talent, and bring out the best in the talent that they attract also. It is not just enough to attract the best talent, it is also that you create an ecosystem, you create an environment where the people that you have recruited, the people that you have attracted are able to give their best so that it goes a long way in enhancing the productivity of the organization. Let's look at some of the leadership skills. Now, I will not get into the details because I know there is a whole workshop, the training program, which lies ahead of you. And I have extremely competent resource persons who will take you in detail through each of these sessions. But just to give a bird's eye view and just to kind of open up the platform, let's look at some of the leadership skills that are needed in the digital era. One, very interestingly, learning and relearning. Let's constantly learn, and we are constantly relearning also. Very, very important, because digital disruption is on the rise. And adaptive leaders must understand the importance of being relevant in the game and keep the learning curve steady. You cannot say, I've learned this and then that's enough. That's the extent of my learning. It does not work that way. We have to keep learning and keep relearning also. Be open to relearning also. Creativity, very, very important to have that creative edge. A creative leader is one who essentially thinks out of the box. Today, without thinking out of the box, you cannot survive in this dynamic world today. Emotional intelligence, very, very important, right? Being collaborative, extremely another very, very important skill. Earlier, it was all right to work in silos, to be insular, to work in silos, does not work anymore. You have to create an environment where collaboration is important. You have to be outgoing, compassionate, have digital understanding, and communicate, and take pride in your employees. Very, very important. When you take pride in your employees give their best. Technological proficiency goes without saying. I don't think I need to elaborate more further on that. The whole workshop is all about that. Teachable skills. Growth begins with the leaders and their attitude towards the digital shift. It is like gardening. A garden does not spring to life on its own. It requires planning, it requires hard work, and it requires the right environment. It needs to be learned and it needs to be taught. You have to teach your employees. You cannot expect them to learn everything on their own. Of course they will, but you have to be open and you have to make sure that they learn. You have to create that environment where learning becomes easy. And agility, very important, last but not the least, in today's fast-paced world, which is ever changing, it is imperative for everyone to adapt to it swiftly. You don't adapt to it, you are out of the game. This will be possible only if you are open as a leader, if you're open to changes, if you have an agile mind. Now, agility is defined as, how quickly you're able to think on your feet and how quickly you're able to understand and empathize with your fellow colleagues. Now, this requires practice. It is not something that agility is not something which is in your DNA. Agility is something which you need to practice and you need to develop over a period of time. But having said that, I mean, let's not get worried. Don't worry, you will get there. All of us will get there. If you're not there already, I think we will get there eventually. And that's the whole reason, the whole prima facie, the raison d'etre for this workshop and for this training program is that we need to get there. We need to have those kind of skills so that we are able to get where we want to go. Thank you so much. And I hope you have an excellent 10 days. Learn, ask, be interactive, put your resource persons to test, ask them all kinds of uncomfortable questions, because this is how the workshop takes off and this is how the workshop becomes much more interactive. It is not that you are learning from us in a very large way. We will also be learning from you. So thank you once again for being with us, and let's enjoy the next 10 days together. Thank you once again.
Thanks, Dr. Sujata, and very truly stated that it's a learning, relearning, and two-way learning process, not only for the participants, but also for us. Today, we are fortunate to have with us Dr. Nitin Batra, who is the CEO of MIT Institute of Training and Development, whose expertise and experience as a coach are truly remarkable. He has been a rich source of knowledge and inspiration in developing this program. He has more than 2 decades of experience helping to deliver growth from innovation, both as a McKinsey consultant and while leading teams at global corporations like Johnson & Johnson and Fisker. Now I invite Dr. Nitin to please share his thoughts. Over to you, Dr. Nitin.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And welcome to our participants that have joined in. Can we just probably get a quick, I don't know if you've got a chance to do that, but quick 30-second introduction from all the participants, if that's possible. And if I'm mispronouncing any of our names, do correct me if I'm wrong. Keith, do you want to kick us off? I see you on video. Hi, do correct me if I've got your name wrong so I can learn.
My name is Sinat. Q is my surname.
Sinat, great.
Yeah.
Thank you for correcting me. Sinat, where are you joining us from?
We are from Cambodia, from Ministry of Public Work and Transport.
Brilliant.
Yep.
Ministry of Public Works, you said, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And you said Public Works and?
Transport.
Sport. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Great. Any use of digital analytics that you're already seeing in public works or sports in Cambodia?
Pardon?
Are you already seeing some application of digital technologies in either public works or sports? Could you hear me?
Yeah, yes, of course. I hear you. For public, in my ministry right now, we have digital data for registration vehicle. Yeah.
Digital data for registration of vehicles. I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm with you. Brilliant. Fantastic. Yeah. Can I also request us to switch on live transcript? Let that just be a process, because sometimes my accent may not be easy to understand. It might just help. Wonderful. Welcome, Sineth. Sineth. Did I get that right? Sineth? Yeah?
Yeah.
All right. Fantastic. Camelia, welcome. Where are you joining us from?
Welcome. Good morning, everyone. I'm from Tunisia, and I'm working as a manager at the Ministry of Communication Technologies.
Right.
I'm a member of a team that's monitoring digital projects and framework of what we call e-government or e-gov. Well, this is all e-gov, monitoring digital projects in this framework.
Wonderful. Great. So, Camelia, share plenty of examples of the kind of stuff happening. You said Tunisia?
Tunisia, yes.
Please share plenty of stuff around what is happening in the ministry. Everything that you can share, not the confidential stuff. It would just help you customize the session that happens. Yeah. Challenges that you're facing, what's happening next, what are the is there a challenge, Camelia, that you're facing at the moment in digitizing the ministry that you'd just like to mention?
Maybe there is many challenges, especially with the pandemic context. So citizens will be expectation change, and citizens want services more transparency, with transparency, faster. They need more satisfaction on services. So we challenge, we face a challenge of trust of services. Many citizens are more comfortable with the face-to-face services, administrative services. So we found some problems about digital services, and there is the concept of trust. A problem with trust and confidence with digital services.
That's a great one, and it's a powerful one. The examples that Dr. Kandai spoke about early on, right? About technology companies like Elon Musk with SpaceX and PayPal before that, or Pichai with Google and others. These are tech companies that are already digital. I mean, they started off digital. They promote digital technology. I think the real revolution around digital is going to be not just how we connect with each other better through a platform. I think that is fine. But how ministries transform to digital, how traditional industries transform to digital. And the whole idea is that we get the mindset. There's something that has worked for tech companies. They can't solve your problem. If I ask, I would say, if I ask Mark Zuckerberg to head the ministry in Tunisia, he will struggle as well. But he will come in with certain mindsets. And we just can see what can work for us from those mindsets, right? So, for example, keeping customer first. When Indian Railways launched their online booking portal, it took a lot of time to book a ticket, but now it is relatively simple. So once it becomes simpler and simpler, more and more people, including my father, who's 75 years old, now wonders why does he need to go and stand in line, So transparency versus convenience, if we can get that right, then digital will be more adopted. Please keep posing these problems as you go through the program. Make it personal for you to get the answers you need. Welcome, Camelia. Denise has joined. Welcome. Denise has joined. Denise, have I mispronounced our name? Do correct me if I'm wrong. Feel free to unmute. We'll give you a moment, not a problem. Ernesto, welcome. Ernesto, if you can unmute, that'll be fantastic. And I appreciate Camelia turning on the video as well as Sineth. So thank you for doing that. Ernesto, hi, how are you?
Hi, I'm fine, and you?
Wonderful. Looks like a wonderful villa that you are at. I can see the pillar at the back.
Yeah, I'm home.
Wonderful. Where are you joining us from?
I'm joining from Mozambique.
Ah, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. And what interested you in this program, Ernesto?
Well, I studied, how can I say, IT management. I have a bachelor in IT management, so I was invited to participate in this program. I found this interesting.
Wonderful.
To update my skills.
Wonderful, wonderful. I'm super glad you could join. And are you working for a private firm? Are you working for the government?
I'm working in a telecom company called TMCell.
Right.
Yeah.
TMCell, yeah?
Yes. Yeah.
Fantastic, fantastic. Later on, as we go through the program, we'll present Amity University also to you. I know we have master's programs also in computer applications, something that we can talk about, Ernesto, later if that is of interest, but welcome.
Yes.
Any particular interesting digitization project for TMCell that you'd like to share?
Now, well, we're updating our network across the country to connect people in rural areas or remote areas that previously they didn't have connection.
Right.
To yeah.
Understood.
That's something that's we are working on at the moment.
Understood. That is a huge project here as well. So I think we can learn, we can learn from each other. Digitization to the last mile is interesting. Now, telecom, right? Let's learn from Ernesto here. Telecom, you would assume, right? At the end of the day, it's the pipe through which all of data travels, right? So telecom itself, you would assume, is the most one of the most digitized workplaces that you can find. Ernesto, is that the case? Are all processes in a telecom company, I'm not asking you to name TMCell, but in a telecom company, are they digitized? Or are there many processes that are still manual? What is your sense?
I think that all processes are digitalized. So yeah, I don't know if we still have some manual process, but I don't think yeah.
Understood. In a tech company that I consult here in India, I will say that some of the last barriers in digitization is strategy, consumer insights, is even project approvals. So imagine that technology is going to reach a level where it can actually suggest strategies. It can actually suggest issues that might happen. It can actually help you come up with consumer insights, right? All of that is going to happen, right? Or try and imagine what might happen 10 years from now. Go ahead. One of us wanted to jump in.
Sorry, I didn't hear it. Yeah, I had some connection problem here. I didn't hear every. Hello?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, now I can hear you.
Now you can hear me. I was saying technology is going to catch up 10 years from now, maybe, where you might not need the CEO might not be developing strategy. It may be technology developing strategy, right? Or it may be technology helping in deciding projects. It might be technology helping in motivating employees, right? That is all something that is possible, if not now, 10 years from now. So I invite us to imagine where technology might play a role. So thank you, Ernesto. Your experience will be extremely useful in the rest of the session.
Thank you.
Denise, if you can hear me, hello. Marcelino, if you can hear me, hello. Do unmute yourself, jump in, turn on your camera if you can. We also have Chandratna. Chandratna, hello. If I'm mispronouncing any of our names, do correct me. Zach, welcome. Marcelino. Marcelino, how do I pronounce your name?
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, all players. And you are pronouncing correctly. Actually, it is Marcelino.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah.
Where are you joining us from?
I'm also joining you from Mozambique.
Wonderful.
And I'm in the same company as Ernesto.
Right.
Telecoms, mobile and landline.
TMCell. And
TMCell.
what is your role in the company, Marcelino?
I'm a team leader.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm responsible for support applications. So in my team.
Understood. Understood. Okay, wonderful. And Ernesto, what is your role in the company? If you can let me know via chat. I see you on mute again, so you just let me know via chat. Not a problem.
I work as system administrator.
System administrator. Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Wonderful. Welcome, Marcelino, as well to our discussion. Jorge, welcome. If I'm mispronouncing our name, my apologies. Do correct me. Jorge, welcome.
Morning. It's George or George.
It's George. Right. Wonderful. Thank you for correcting me. Thank you for correcting me. Where are you joining us from, George?
From Mozambique, Maputo.
From Mozambique.
Company.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And are you part of TMCell as well?
Yes.
What is your role in TMCell?
I am head of network department.
Head of, sorry, I missed that.
Network department.
Network department, got it.
Yes.
Got it. Wonderful. We have many of our colleagues joining in. It'll be interesting at some point, and we were discussing this in the project design, to use TMCell as a bit of a case study, if you allow. And just as, you know, because we have you, we'll be able to get the right input to see what TMCell's digitization strategy could look like in the future. We'll probably do that experiment if you permit. Who else has joined? Teresina, welcome. Chandratna, welcome. Fatima, welcome, welcome, welcome. Zeku, welcome. Celso, welcome as well. Feel free to unmute and jump in. Celso, I see you unmuted. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. How are you?
Very good. Am I pronouncing your name right?
Yeah, it's pronounced Celso. It's pronouncing very well, thank you.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. I'm just lucky I'm getting it right, but please correct me if I've got any name wrong. Celso, where are you joining from?
Well, I'm actually part of the group of TMCell. I work with Marcelino, George, and Ernesto. We're all part of the TMCell group. We are Telcom in Mozambique. Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. And what's your role in TMCell?
I'm the director, and I look mainly to commercial issues, which is very challenging, taking into consideration what my colleagues have said regarding the implementation of the new network that we just rolled out, the 4G network.
Got it.
So digitalization, management of digitalization, and trying to bring digitalization to Mozambique is very, very important to us. That's why this course is extremely, we hope will be extremely helpful to us.
Got it. Celso, there will be a section on the learnings we can have on implementation of digital strategy or any strategy, frankly. Please jump in that session and challenge us on whether that thinking would help. Is that something that you're already doing, or is there something better that can work? So if I invite you to jump in during that, as well as the rest of us, would that be okay?
No, obviously we want to participate as much as possible. We want to take as much as possible out of the course. TMCL has a vision, and our vision is to lead the digital transformation in Mozambique. So we'll try and take as much as possible from this course.
Fantastic. Welcome. Great. So, and specifically, we were talking about an agile implementation methodology. So we'll go through that. We'll see whether, it can work as a whole or in part. What is it that we can learn from it? So welcome, Celso. Zaku, welcome. Teresina, welcome. Fatima, I see your message on chat, and that's a great tip for the rest of us. Please feel free to join in on chat if you're comfortable there. Fatima, let us know where you're from and what your role is. Feel free to respond on chat. Absolutely fine. All right. Would anyone else like to jump in here at this point to introduce themselves? Just feel free to turn on the camera, unmute yourself. If you are getting a cup of coffee at this moment, that's absolutely fine. I'm sure Dr. Kandai, we can get introductions or carry on with introductions as we go along the program. So every time you see a participant jump in for the first time, just maybe a couple of minutes of getting to know them a bit more. That'll be wonderful. Fatima is joining in from TMCell as well, and from Mozambique, responsible for roaming and interconnect at TMCell. Fantastic. Lovely. So I did mention that this is about tech companies, learning from them and figuring out how they approach digitization. That is just one input. Another input is innovation, how innovation can happen and how it can be created. Another input is what makes a leader and what are the leadership approaches or mindsets, how you think about things that are applicable here as well. So we'll talk about that fundamentally. What are tech companies doing? What works in innovation? What works as when you think about leadership and mindsets? 3 building blocks. And I want to bring all of this into a story. So in the 1980s, there was a paint company called Asian Paints. They were sending their products out to dealers across the country. They had a limited set of dealers. People were painting houses, and that's how the business was running. It would take the paint company to send the paint, and the dealer would call after a week and say, my paint is over. They would then ship the next batch of paint. It would take them a week or 2 weeks for the paint to reach. And then the customer would get the paint. So every time a customer wanted to paint their house, they probably had to wait for 3 or 4 weeks. Now, this company in the 80s sat back and said, if my customers get the paint the very next day, right? They ask for the paint, they get it the very next day. I will not lose out on so many customers. I would not lose out. I would give the customers exactly what they want, because if they were asking for yellow paint and only white paint was available, they would just get the white paint and decide to paint their house. The customer would get the painted house, but would not be too happy. If the father is showing off to the children, he would not be able to show off to the level that he would like. It would still be a white house, just like the next house, right? Not that white is bad. I'm just using that as an example. So what this company decided to do in the 80s is put in an entire room and put in a big computer, invested unlike anyone else in data analytics in the 80s. And as a result of this data analytics, found out that these dealers have this kind of throughput of paint on this frequency, and therefore we should preemptively, before they even ask for it, supply that paint. The progress this company has made so far is this, that the paint arrives every 3 hours and in exactly the quantity that the dealer needs. And that's the power of data analytics. And as a result, you will ask, so what? So what is that they end up paying their dealers, or they end up, the dealers end up paying the paint company 20 to 30% more in terms of cost per can of paint, because they don't have to store the paint anymore. You know, those small shops don't have to have large amount of paint. They can satisfy the customers that very day on everything that the customer needs, just because this company knows exactly what the dealer needs. This is what digitization can do for an age-old company. And it's not easy, because there are many other paint companies that know exactly what this paint company is doing, but still take about a week or 2 weeks to get the paint across, right? So digitization is a process. Digitization is a mindset. It is about moving along that journey, saying that technology will help. And then you make use of that help more and more and more, and you get better and better at using technology. So everything you see around you, in Mozambique, for example, when you get out with your family or friends for an evening out, the transport you take, the place where you decide to eat, the kind of choices you make about which place to visit, what you see around you, how you get back home, what does the car look like, for example, the weather, and so on and so forth. Everything will get impacted by technology at some point or the other if it's not already happening. So we invite you to act as a leader with certain mindsets, realize that digitization is going to impact or influence every aspect of life in ways that make sense, and that you can fundamentally be driving that change in whatever role you do. If I'm working in a company and I'm responsible for making sure that reimbursements in expenses happen, I can always think about, how do I digitize? I'll give you a small example. When I started off my career with Pfizer as head of Europe, I was a product manager. I was looking at 26 countries based out of London. And every month we would get data from these 26 countries to analyze and understand whether our market share was going up or was going down. One day, the president was visiting, and the market share data had just come in at 12 o'clock the previous day, 12 noon the previous day. I was working in my office till 4 in the morning, trying to calculate the market share for the presentation to the president. And I finished the Excel sheet, the currency conversions, figuring out that we were gaining 0.3% in market share. Next morning, I came in and I realized that the currency rate was actually wrong that I had used. We were losing 0.3 percentage points. So I adjusted the Excel sheet. A couple of hours later, input came in that some data was wrong from Czech Republic. So I readjusted, and this time we were gaining another 0.2% in market share. My presentation was changing all the time, because either I showed the president a picture of gaining, or I was showing the president a picture of losing. So I went through the motion. We did the presentation. We luckily were gaining share. Luckily, because until 2 hours ago, we were losing share. So I was very glad that we were gaining share. And then we finished the presentation. I left my job, went on to do something else. The next person that came in had 3 years less experience than me, came in within a first month, realized that he's spending 3 days just trying to do this market share analysis, and said, what if I can just automate it? He hired a company spent roughly about £3,000. They built a small software, the data would come in, and market share result would be thrown out. He could sleep at his normal time at 10 at night, unlike me, who was awake till 4 in the morning every time. Why am I talking about this? Because the smallest things, if technology can help, makes our lives easier, more efficient, and we end up getting better results to make the right decisions. So I welcome you to think broad and small around all your challenges as well as opportunities that exist. I welcome you to the course. We are here to learn as much from you as we are here to create an environment where you learn. So please participate, please join us in this journey. And I look forward to your feedback at the end on how useful this program was. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Dr. Nitin, for setting the right context and for such a wonderful kick-start for this 2 weeks online learning journey for all of us. Now I would request to propose vote of thanks to our Ministry of External Affairs for sponsoring this course on management of the future essential leadership skills in digital era. We also thank Amity College of Commerce and Finance for designing the course and inviting experts from corporates from all over India to address the key theme and weigh in on the topics and trends therein. I would also like to thank our IT team for making all the arrangements for this inaugural session. And now I hand over to Dr. Geeta Mishra, who is Associate Professor at Amity College of Commerce and Finance, for the commencement of our learning journey ahead. Over to you, Dr. Geeta.
Thank you, Dr. Shikha. Thank you, Sujata ma'am and Nitin sir, for setting the context right for this upcoming training program. I would like to once again welcome all the participants to this 2 weeks online training program on management of the future essential leadership skills in the digital era from the 6th till the 17th day of February 2023. Leadership is all about vision, long-term strategic thinking and action. And hence leaders in the digital age have to ensure that they are ahead of the technological curve without being bamboozled by it. So this 2 weeks training program will help the participants to lead effectively in a globally connected, ever-changing world, to develop insights into how digital is transforming the leadership landscape and what aspects most impact the participants and their teams. Recognize how to influence and persuade people around the digital vision, and create a personal leadership plan for leading effectively and thriving in the digital age. Today, we have with us 2 distinguished resource persons to take the sessions on the topic of why digitization as the new way of doing businesses, and the skills required for a leader in digital era to manage teams. For the first session, we have with us Dr. Pallavi Tyagi. She is an associate professor at Amity College of Commerce and Finance, Amity University, Uttar Pradesh, India, and a visiting faculty at Grenoble École de Management, France. She has an experience of over 12 years and has published various case studies and research papers in journals of repute. She has presented papers in a number of national and international conferences and has also edited various books with international publishers like Emerald, Rivers Publishers, and many others, just to name a few. Her area of interest includes diversity, equity and inclusion, employee empowerment, and social entrepreneurship. We welcome you, Dr. Pallavi, and look forward to a very engaging and insightful session on digitization and digital transformation. So can we start in another 5 minutes?
Yes, I think, Dr. Geeta, let's have a break for 5 minutes. Also, I would request all the participants to re-log in so that we are able to put the transcripts on. For that, we need to log out from the session and log in again. So let's take 5 minutes and then join back via same link.